give me a ticket into the... Why is it suddenly slamming the brake on? I was doing 21 miles an hour coming up to a 20 limit, which isn't even active at the moment. Why is it trying to park me here? It's going to park. Look. What's it doing? Hello again, YouTube, and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla. And this has been an exciting week for Tesla because the Lord Elon has announced that he's going to unveil to the world Robo Taxis on the 8th of August. But will we get them in the UK? This is probably a slightly unusual camera angle for me to be doing these pieces to camera, but I am sheltering inside my car from the massive wind which is blowing today and ruined the first attempt. So we need to talk about Tesla and automation and autopilot and full self-driving and all of those exciting things that I know blows the mind of a lot of people. As you probably know, all Tesla cars are equipped with a whole raft of cameras, and there is a learning AI computer algorithm on board the car, and everybody who drives Tesla has been basically helping the computer learn how to drive, because autopilot is officially a beta, and then for almost a decade now they have been willing to sell you full self-driving in beta form, and again that has been helping Tesla to learn how cars drive. Well, the interesting thing very recently was that it's no longer beta. FSD 12.3 is now FSD supervised. Basically, they have cracked it, and that means that if you are in America and Canada, you can have this thing. The rest of the world, we can't. So why is it that they can have it in America and we can't have it in Europe? Well, there is this thing called the UNECE. Basically, the United Nations has a committee which helps the world to regulate the way that cars are designed and built and operate. So things like the throttle pedal always being on the right-hand side, that is a UN regulation, would you believe? And part of what they have is automation guidance, rules, guidelines, things that basically, if you're a car maker and you are selling your car in one of the countries where the UNECE rules apply, then you have to do what it says. Now, despite it being a European UN thing, it actually applies across most of the major economies in the world, with the exception, of course, of the United States of America, because America! And because America does it, Canada follows as well. So America does its own thing, and the rest of the world does the other thing. But what that means is that if you're in the US and you've got a Tesla and you have got full self-driving, chances are your car is now zooming around entirely by itself and doing all kinds of exciting things. Here in Europe, we don't get that opportunity. And it's the same in Japan, it's the same in Australia and New Zealand and South Africa. We don't get to have these things. So here in the UK, in April of 2024, we can have three different things. You can have standard autopilot, which the cars all come with, which is basically automated steering, acceleration and brakes, but with restrictions on them. Tesla can also sell you for £3,400 a thing called enhanced autopilot, which gives you navigate on autopilot and auto lane change. And again, those are regulated things that the UNECE have set out, and it only works on motorways and dual carriageways. For a further £3,400 on top of that, so 6,800 of your British pounds, you can have a thing called full self-driving beta, which is completely unrelated to FSD supervised, which the Americans have now got. And all that does is take enhanced autopilot and it adds stop sign and stoplight recognition if you're driving in a city, and that's basically it. So there is a world of difference between all of these whizzy videos you see on Twix of cars zooming around in American city streets and what they can do here. But I thought that we needed to go and test that. One thing that a lot of people seem to be waiting for is the new small Tesla, which was lovingly dubbed the Model 2 and hated by the Lord Elon, who says it's absolutely not called the Model 2. Well, okay, fine. What it appears to be is the new Robo Taxi, because on the 8th of August, they are going to unveil to the world this new Robo Taxi with new hardware, which is a new vehicle. And supposedly this vehicle has got 48-volt architecture. It's got steer-by-wire. Basically, they're taking the Cybertruck enhancements and rolling them out into a smaller car. Great. So, Robo Taxi, what is the concept? Quite simply, the idea behind Robo Taxi is you don't have one of these. You basically sit here and you've got seats in the front, you've got seats in the back, you've got a ship going out of Peterhead Harbour, and basically the car can be summoned remotely. You have the car come to you, no steering wheel, no driver. The car navigates by itself to where you are, picks you up, and then takes you to where you're going, and the whole thing is automated. It will be interesting to see just what it actually is like. So I am going to go across town here in Peterhead, pick up my fare from the Prison Museum and take them across town. I'm then going to take the car to another location and pick up somebody else and take them to one of the villages. So we're going to do some town driving and we're going to do some country driving. I am going to use standard autopilot because, once again, there is no value whatsoever in having EAP or FSD laughable in Europe in towns. They do nothing. So we're going to use standard autopilot. I am going to try and do as little as possible to intervene, as hands-off as is absolutely safely possible, and let's see what happens. Right, so I am at Peterhead Prison Museum and we are going to go to, I don't know, pick a street. We're going to go across town and pick somebody up from here. So basically press and hold on the map, that will give me a thing, press navigate. So that is a reasonable run through town. It's a kind of taxi job. It's 3 miles and 8 minutes. Let's see how much of this we can actually do on autopilot. I'm guessing it's not going to be a lot. I can tell you that now. But this is the challenge that Tesla have got. So first of all, I'm in a car park and the car is not driving itself around the car park as you see the American ones doing. As we go here past the frankly terrifying Peterhead Prison Museum, I've been inside it, it's horrible in a good way, and this car park is also horrible for my car's autopilot because it cannot do anything. We have got a narrow exit and tight turn, which again the car is not going to do, and I'm going to be very careful that I don't bang my wheels any more than I have done. And we're going to get to the top and it wants me to turn right. So even if I had enhanced autopilot with navigate on autopilot, it would not work on these roads. So don't even think about it. Now, I can't go onto autopilot until the little steering wheel comes on. And there are not enough line markings here to work. So on this kind of road, where there's multiple different surfaces that have been resurfaced and broken up and dug up at different times, the car simply has no idea where it is. None. And that's going to be a real problem on a lot of British roads, as are things like parked cars where you have to wiggle your way out. So we're going to turn left onto a slightly bigger road where I'm hoping we're going to be able to pick up autopilot, but probably not for very long. Okay, again, as soon as it comes on, I'm putting it on. Still haven't got it. Yes, we have. There we go. Finally, we can go on to autopilot, but not for very long because we're about to turn off. I'm going to have to manually override it straight away to be able to turn into here. Yep, it won't actually go like that, so okay. Again, the car won't turn by itself. I've got to do turns and things like that manually. I hope you passengers are enjoying the ride. Don't forget to tip me on the Uber app. So, it's back on. 30 miles an hour. Blue lines are good. Let's see what it does with this bollard. Yeah, okay, it shunted me across. Okay, we're kind of wandering around a little bit, but I suppose there is kind of a line here for it to follow. I'm only going to nudge the steering wheel when it shouts at me. That's the other thing, because in the US version, they're saying, look, we barely have to do any interventions at all. Well, I know I have to nudge the steering wheel every 30 seconds or so, and I will do so when it tells me to, and not before. But going along here with nothing particular in the way, it's absolutely fine. It didn't like the Audi coming the other way because, of course, there wasn't really a lane marking to tell it where it should be. And it did react slightly late, but I was far enough away for it not to be a problem. But there was a little bit of from the car. Talking about here comes a roundabout, which I believe the US version of FSD is doing better, but when they say better, it's still poor. It is at least slowing down, but only because it thinks it's a 20 limit. So I'm actually taking my foot onto the brake pedal and applying it to turn it off until we go around here. Again, I'll put it on as soon as it comes on, which I am now doing, and put the speed back to 30. It's fine, but I'm going in a straight line with no particular obstacles. So this is a suburbs type trip in the UK, and okay, it's not too bad, but I'm still a little bit of a nervous passenger, and I'm doing so with a steering wheel and pedals. Now, we will slow down for this roundabout only because traffic is in front. Otherwise, it would just send us merrily on our... What on earth is it doing? I think it got a little confused there. Okay. I'm still waiting for... There we go. Nope. Yes, I know you've gone away. So, it won't even engage on here. It won't even engage. There are not enough lines for it to pick up, despite there being obvious curb there, and it can see a curb, and it can see a line down the middle, but there are not enough. We appear to be on... it only comes on very, very, very briefly, and then it goes off again. We'll pick it up again now. But again, not for very long, because I'm going up here to a roundabout, and then I am turning again. Everyone enjoying the ride? It doesn't know what to do. The road has widened out with this lay-by thing, and it genuinely has no clue what it's doing. So we'll just knock it off again, because we're at a roundabout and we need to turn left, and it doesn't do roundabouts. Has it come back yet? So, once again, I'm on a main road, and because there isn't a proper marking on it, it won't even engage. This is the challenge that Tesla have got, right? You can't just follow lane markings and there's 4 lanes on every road, all the rest of it. In the UK especially, we get loads of roads that are like this, that or they're broken up, or there's lots of different tarmac, and it needs to be able to work on all of these. Now, let's see what we get as we go around here. Is it going to come back on? Yes. Yes, it is. But we're turning left almost immediately, so... Have to dab the brake. Yes, 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 yes. I am taking control immediately. I already have. Okay. So, we now have residential street with parked vehicles on both sides and up onto the pavement, and no real markings at all. And surprisingly enough, it isn't doing anything. This is what your average taxi driver has to do. Drive around housing estates, picking people up from their houses and dropping them off again, okay? If you want a Robo Taxi in the UK, it needs to be able to take people to where they live. Mine isn't. It's not doing anything. It's quite literally not switched on here at all. There's not even the option There's not even a chance of it coming back on. It's just doing, well, nothing. There's a line here. Can it give me a go? Come on, there is kind of a line. No? Okay. So I think basically driving around streets like this, again, parked cars on one side, lots of drop curbs on this side. It's not even seeing all of the vehicles, and then here you've got to squeeze in between parked cars and somebody else parked halfway up on the pavement. Now I'm taking it nice and steady. What would the car even think of something like that? Or would it not even think at all? So here's our destination down here, and for the entirety of this housing estate, in fact for the entirety of, well, most of the drive through the town, it hasn't been on at all. So what we're going to do is we're just going to reverse back a little bit, and we're going to park it up very briefly, and we're going to select another destination and set it another challenge. Okay, so where are we going to go? Let's go somewhere down by the harbour where you need to have a bit of a wiggle around to be able to get there. Okay, how about we want to go to the RNLI station, the lifeboats. So take me there. Right, off we go. So I can now put that back on. No, I can't. It's gone off again. It was there for a split second, as you might have seen. A split second, and then it went. So look, I haven't picked these roads deliberately. I just thought, let's come to Peterhead. It's a reasonably sized town for my part of Aberdeenshire, and let's just basically do a couple of cross-town taxi trips. I've never been onto that estate before, ever. I had no idea what it was like. I just thought we'd give it a go. So once again, we're on a main road. This is the A982 into the town centre, and we have got no sign whatsoever of auto steer coming back on. Hopefully on the other side of the roundabout, but at the moment it is doing nothing. And it certainly isn't going to do it on a roundabout. It came on very, 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 very briefly there and then disappeared off again. Okay, it should be all right now. And it is. So, back to 30 miles an hour on autopilot in my Robo Taxi, and we are off down to the harbour to go and see the lifeboats. He's sticking his nose out. Well, right, she's nearly sticking her nose out, but actually wasn't doing. But fine. The car is doing a perfectly decent job of keeping us centered in the lane, but then again there aren't really any obstacles here, so this is fine. If we needed to make a turn, it wouldn't do that. If we need to make a bigger turn than we're going to do, it won't do that. What's it going to make of this? Amazingly, it didn't know what to do. Welcome to the UK, folks. Right, this is way too quick down here at 30 miles an hour, and we're a little bit close to some of these cars, so I've slowed it to 25. And yep, I needed to then steer away because it didn't know what to do with the parked cars. Nope, come on, come on. Okay, it's back on. We'll stick to 25. Oop, no, it's gone to 20 because it's gone past a school warning sign or something. It's not a 20 limit. Or maybe it is. No, it's a switchable 20 limit. Yes, again, parked cars and it doesn't know what to do with them. Yeah, it was a switchable 20 limit. So we go down here now. You've got kind of not really here markings. You have got cars parked up and it's just stopped. So before, as we showed, it didn't know what to do with parked cars. Here, it has no clue what to do. It's not going to make the right turn for me. There are at least lane markings here. But then again, there's loads of parked cars. Oh, hang on. It's on, but no, it's gone again. I think there's going to be quite a lot of work to do here, guys. Quite a lot of work. It genuinely isn't doing it. So we are turning left. Hopefully we're going to have a few more road markings to try and get the thing to try and engage. Still isn't doing. Yes, it is. Okay. It's back briefly because we're about to turn right. So we're not going where he's going, we're going down the first one. So again, I have to nudge the brake to knock it off, swing it around to the right, down towards the harbour. Right. It's quite close to the centre line. So I am keeping a real eye on this one. And again, I'm going slowly. There are parked cars here. Is it going to do it right? Well, hey, it actually went around the parked cars without crashing and without pooing itself and panicking and not knowing what to do. Admittedly, I am doing 22 miles an hour, but fine. Let's go to 25. Come on, let's live it large. We were quite close to that curb there, closer than I would have been. Come on. I don't know why it's sticking to 20, by the way. I have set it to 25, but okay. This is quite a, yes. This is quite a tight bend, and it really was starting to panic. So we will just knock all of that off. Is it going to come back? No. Yes, it is. Right, okay. So it's back on. I've actually just gone past. Oh, the lifeboats are down here, but I can't get to it. So what? Yes. It has no clue what it's doing. What we're going to do is we are going to park up in a second, and we're going to pick somewhere else to go. I know. Let's go on the Keith Inch, park up by the bridge, and we will pick a new destination. But dear, oh dear, this is quite funny. Don't go any further. We don't want to fall into the water. So, I have had 2 taxi rides in my Tesla Robo Taxi, and let's just say that it's been problematic. And remember that the Lord Elon said that the whole concept is that when you aren't using your Tesla, it could be earning you money by driving around as a taxi. Well, I'm trying to drive it around as a taxi in the UK, and it's bobbins. Okay, let us go a little bit out of town. We are going to go and have a little bit of a country drive. We are going to go and take somebody along to, where are we going to go? Yes, we are going to go to the station cottages at Longside. So this is basically out of town. Okay, so we get to go along a main road. Now, surely it's going to do a better job with that. There's only one way to find out, and that's to give it another go. So, my fare is back in the car. Again, it does not maneuver itself out of a parking spot. I'm doing it myself. I'm not even going to go that way. I'm going to go this way just because I can, and then we'll let the car recalculate, and yeah, okay. So once again, no markings, nothing for the computer to actually latch onto. So the 3 cameras in the pod up here don't really know what they're looking at, other than the fact that it's picking up some of the vehicles, but note only some of the vehicles, not all of them. It doesn't know what to do. once again, we are in town. There are some lane markings now. Now I need to turn right here, according to this. Yes, I do, because that's except for access. Okay. Any more lane markings? Nope. Okay, good. It went on very briefly. Ooh, it's there. Look, it is there. Right. So, we're back. Briefly. Now then, there is a giveaway here. Will the car give way? Or do I have to put my foot on the brakes? And the answer is the latter. Because it doesn't recognise things like giveaway signs. I think even if it was a red light, it might have done, but of course, it wasn't. So, we can go back on past the Sheriff's Court. Hopefully they're not going to give me a ticket. Into the... Why is it suddenly slamming the brake on? I was doing 21 miles an hour coming up to a 20 limit, which isn't even active at the moment. Why is it trying to park me here? It's going to park. Look. What's it doing? So driving along there on autopilot, it decides it's going to park itself about a foot away from the curb and just sit there waiting for further instructions. What on earth is it doing? Oh, honestly, we are going to have so much fun trying to get this done. Right. That's quite a tricky junction because you've got 4 roads that all come out at the same time. So what do I make of that? I think in summary, it's not ready yet. And it's not just not ready yet by a little bit. It's massively not ready. And okay, so as I understand it, our platform that it's using for autopilot and all of the various things that I could now buy in software like EAP or FSD Laughable, I think that's an entirely different software set to the one that the Americans are now using for FSD supervised. I hope so, because from my testing, we are miles and miles and miles and miles away from this being realistic in the UK on our roads. And I'm not talking about the legal or regulatory side of it. I'm talking about its ability not to crash and to know where on earth it is. You know, never mind a Robo Taxi. I've just done a couple of taxi runs, fake mock-up taxi runs in this car with me driving far more than the car was driving. Never mind me not being in the car and the car driving itself. So on that pessimistic note, we're going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. Tell me in the comments whether you think this kind of thing is entertaining, stupid, just plain dumb, whatever. Let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please subscribe if you haven't done so. It's free and it really helps boost the algorithm and get more content out to more people. I'll see you very soon back here, or not back here because I need to go home now, on Just Get a Tesla.